In the year of our Lord, 1999, a not quite 9-year-old me was sitting in front of the TV on a Saturday morning. I was eating cereal and watching video hits, catching maybe a glimpse of Spice Girl, maybe a glimpse of the Backstreet Boys, when what do I come across? What am I blessed with? All of my favorite performers in wigs and flares dancing together for 4 minutes and 17 glorious seconds was Thank ABBA for the Music. Hello loves and welcome to How's She Going? Today I am in journalism mode. Pulitzer Prize winning investigative journalism mode. For years I wondered if what I had witnessed was a fever dream. Mamma Mia had been released. My dad gave me ABBA Gold for my 10th birthday. So I thought, looking back, maybe had I put all of the pieces together, did I create the fantasy of Billie Piper in red sequin flares, dancing alongside Bewitched in the most deviant wigs I have ever seen? We'll get there. Were steps in white alongside Cleopatra coming at ya in gold just a mirage in the pop star Y2K oasis? No, it was real. It turns out that all of this ABBA fervor in a short amount of time was no coincidence. This was part of a carefully, meticulously manufactured marketing campaign. But let's not jump ahead. All I started with was a memory and a grainy YouTube clip from decades earlier. I needed to investigate. And every good journalist asks these questions: who, what, where, when, and most importantly, why? Why? Join me as I get to the bottom of the most important performance in Y2K 1999 Brit Awards performance history. In order to demonstrate the absolute phenomenon that this performance was, I need to school all of you on how incredible each of these individual performers were in their own right, and Tina Cousin. Individually, they could stop any 9-year-old in their tracks, but put them together on stage, in one room, singing and dancing, it was thrilling. Now, Billie Piper burst onto the stage at 15 years old. She was only 15 in 1998 with her debut single, Because We Want To. I look, it's a great song. Like, you can't not sing that title. That single shot to the top of the charts around the world. I knew her best as the girlfriend of Richie from Five because I had a crush on him. I was in love with him and Nick Carter. I had a type. And I wasn't really a big fan of her because of that. Don't worry, I've since grown out of that internalized misogyny. I've worked on it. I wouldn't hold that against her now. So a 9-year-old being like, I don't like her because that's fine. But as a 33-year-old judging a 15-year-old, it's not a good look. Steps, they were an incredible British pop group. They are an incredible British pop group. So they're made up of the members Claire Richards, Lisa Scott Lee, Lee Latchford Evans. Lisa Scott Lee Latchford.
Educate yourself. You say you're educated.
Faye Tozer and Ian H. Watkins. So they were kind of an obvious choice for an ABBA tribute. They had previously released Tragedy, which was a cover of the Bee Gees, so they obviously weren't adverse to recognizing their pop forebears. And that shot to the top of the charts around the world. There were also 2 men, 3 women. For ages I thought it was 2 men, 2 women, like ABBA. But nope, it wasn't actually till they released their recent single with Michelle Visage that I realized there were way more members of Steps than I remembered. So clearly haven't been paying very much attention to their career since I was a child. Cleopatra, coming at ya, were a trio of sisters. That was Cleopatra, Yona, and Zinam Higgins. They were originally called Cleopatra and the Attractions. They had just released the indomitable Cleopatra's Theme the year prior in 1998, and it shot to the top of the charts around the world globally. Bewitched is an Irish girl group made up of sisters Adele and Keely Lynch, Lindsay Armour, and Sinead O'Carroll. Their debut single, C'est La Vie, it's so good. I'm not good, I think the song is good. It was released in 1998 and it shot to the top of the charts around the world, globally. Everybody. Critics at the time called them Spice Girls Light, which also, like, that's not an insult anyway. You should be so lucky as to be compared to the Spice Girls, and I think they were recognized as such. They were a pop group made up of women. That's kind of it. But that's like that's where the comparison ends. It was 4 women in Bewitched, not 5 in Spice Girls. They were Irish. No one in Spice Girls is Irish. Just gonna wait here till he... Oh, run around time for the cats. You done? Anything for me Bewitched were like Cause Light. Cause Light. I didn't even write that down. I just came up with that. Yeah, they were like my gateway drug to the Cause and Sinead O'Connor and Irish music in general. You know, like I had just graduated from Enya nap time. So it was before discovering the angst of Sinead O'Connor and the, how do you describe the Cause? I don't know. I could do another video on them, or just Irish music in general that touched me. Now we come to Tina Cousins. Okay, so not all of you may know who Tina Cousins is. Maybe none of you know who Tina Cousins is. Maybe some of you knew any of the groups I've just mentioned, but you don't know Tina Cousins. If you did follow Bewitched, Steps, Billie Piper, Cleopatra, coming at ya, then you definitely recognize this chorus. That's Tina Cousins. And in 1998, that single, Pray, ready, say it with me, shot to the top of the charts globally. Are you noticing a theme? So this was a pop star collaboration for the ages. Costumes were color coordinated, skin tight flares. Ooh, I mean, perfect, right? Blue, white, red, silver, gold. It also meant that on the giant stage, you could pick out maybe your favorite. You could say, oh look, there's Adele from Bewitched and there's Ian from Steps. I can tell who they are. Although Steps, there was a few blondes in there all wearing white, so maybe that would have been a bit difficult. Bewitched, on the other hand, they knew how to differentiate from each other because they wore wigs. Why? Why did they wear wigs? I think it was part of their look. If you look at video clips, wiggery is kind of a pretty popular theme for Bewitched. I have reached out to their team. Basically, I just really wanted to get some insight onto like who put the costumes together, who did the choreography for it, how much rehearsal time did they have. Speaking of the choreography, it was ABBA inspired, obviously, and it was completely tailored to the pop star's unique, incredible talent. So yeah, the good choreography was more in line with like a drag race makeover challenge. And the set looked like something from like a Rocker Stedford of the time. Do you have a Stedfords in? Yeah, I mean, I know they have them in the UK and Ireland, right? Do they have them in America? The Brit Awards, London, February 1999. Hi. I don't know why she had this thing dangling off, but I had to honor it. You know, we weren't going for complete accuracy, but you know, this was a pretty big piece of the puzzle. Oh, they're not even wearing earrings. Now we get to the why of it all. Remember when I was talking about the artists, and did you notice my very subtle hinting about something that they all had in common? In that previous year, between 1997 and 1998, ready? They all shot to the top of the charts around the world. Everybody. So despite this success, the critics weren't so hot on them. And the Brit Awards were the type of gatekeeping music awards show that we still see to an extent, but pop music certainly has become a lot more, I don't want to say recognized by critics, but definitely put front and center at award shows. So this wasn't always the case. If you want to see me do a deep dive on the music award shows of this era and kind of how they've evolved, let me know in the comments down below. So throughout my research, I kept finding hints, although no one would outright say it, that basically because of the critical reception of these groups and Billie Piper and Tina Cousins, none of them would have gotten their own solo performance slot at the Brit Awards 1999. And this is despite the fact that all of them were nominated for awards, except Tina Cousins. So around this time, ABBA's singer-songwriters Bjorn Elvis and Benny Andersson were looking for ways to promote their fresh musical that was about to hit London's West End in 1999. Mamma Mia. Why did I say it like that? Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia. Not Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia. Part of the promotion for Mamma Mia was the idea of an album of ABBA covers by popular artists of the time that would renew interest in ABBA and get people excited for the new musical, which is just a jukebox musical of ABBA hits. So if you don't like ABBA, or if you don't really know ABBA, then maybe you're not going to be so inclined to go see the musical. Okay, so you with me? The musical Mamma Mia going to be promoted using this album, ABBA Mania. One of the singles on the album, Thank ABBA for the Music. Somehow the Brit Awards were picked as the launching pad for the musical through the album, with the lead single, Thank ABBA for the Music, bringing together each of these artists for one super group called the Super Troopers, performing on stage all together. Benny Andersson was presenting an award. UK and Ireland were the demographic because they were going to be launching the musical in London's West End. So they wanted British and Irish viewers. So the Brit Awards would have been a perfect place to showcase that, because remember, this is the time when award shows were on television. It was event television. You all sat down and watched it together. Then you talked about it the next day. Maybe you taped it. Thank you to those who did, because that's how we have film clips and performances being recorded of the time. Because they did release this as a film clip, but they did some editing. So to be able to see the original performances, thank you to everyone who had the foresight to tape that. You were probably wanting to tape, who were the other? There were some really good performers that night. The Cause, Boyzone. Okay, so we're in the Eurythmics featuring Stevie Wonder. Oh, I want to see that. The Manic Street Preachers, Placebo and David Bowie. So you would have seen that all of these people are performing, and you probably pop the tape in, say that you can capture that, because that was the thing. You knew that whatever was going to happen. I don't know if it was in recent years that common people. Pulp. Jarvis Cocker had mooned everyone while Michael Jackson was doing a song. So, you know, things like that might happen. So you want to capture it. There's also a different question, which is why Tina Cousins? Now, like, I think I keep singling out Tina Cousins, but it's because she was a completely different genre and vibe to the rest of the performers. They were kind of just pure pop, bubblegum pop, and she was like electro synth. You can tell, like, this is not my area of expertise. I'm like, so they were like bubble pop, and she was like electric. Yes, she had a hit single, but it was a completely different kind of arena to the other performers. However, if we look at this guy and the record label behind ABBAmania, then we kind of start to see all the connections coming together. Peter Waterman. This record producer is behind nearly all of the major pop hits of the late 90s. Really before that and beyond that as well. I suggest that you go look up his discography because it's kind of amazing. He was behind all of the Steps record, but he was also behind Tina Cousins. And it was his son and his son's record company that produced the ABBAmania album, and thank ABBA for the music. So I can imagine that in order to raise the profile of Tina Cousins, it was suggested that she join the others on stage and in the recording studio for that lead single that was then going to promote the new musical Mamma Mia. So can we say that without this performance, without the Super Troopers coming together and blowing our minds, that we would never have had Meryl Streep and Amanda Seyfried singing on a jetty in linens? Maybe not, okay? But you can't deny the impact that this had. This performance introduced ABBA to a whole new generation of pop fans. It led to the re-release of the ABBA Gold album. Now you might remember me saying I got it when I was 10. This performance was when I was 9. The album, the ABBA Gold Greatest Hits Collection, originally came out in 1992. But ABBAmania and Thank ABBA for the Music was so popular, and then that led to popularity of the musical Mamma Mia, that they then re-released ABBA Gold Greatest Hits because there was so much interest for it. Everyone wanted ABBA. Everyone wanted a piece of it. And if you weren't in London's West End, it's not like you could go see Mamma Mia. And you couldn't go on the internet and look up the performance. You couldn't try and find it. So the next best thing we had was ABBA Gold. I wasn't really a huge fan of ABBA. I just loved Steps. I loved Bewitched. And I loved Cleopatra. I was kind of lukewarm with Tina Cousins and Billie Piper as a 9-year-old. Like, let's not judge my 9-year-old music taste, okay? But I was such a fan of them that I wanted to catch that music video whenever I could. So any shows that were like the compilation. So in Australia, we had Video Hits and Rage. I think we had a couple others on other channels. That's how you caught music videos. And I would just, hope it was still popular enough that I would get to see the performance again. And I think my dad thought that I was just really into ABBA. So he got me ABBA Gold. Love them now. Love them now. Oh my God, Cher's album of ABBA covers? That's pretty amazing. But we wouldn't have all of this if it wasn't for everything coming together in 1999. Oh, there you have it. It's a small piece of the investigative story. Like I said, I still really want to hear about who made choices on like which group was going to wear what color. And again, did they have rehearsal time? Is the choreography so basic because they literally had to get together that day? I mean, they were all very important, very busy, very popular artists of the day. And supergroups might not have existed if this hadn't done so well. This is before Madonna and Britney and Christina. This is before Miley and Redacted. So what about you? Do you have memories of this performance? Did you know about it before today? Did you know about any of these different performers? Are you a fan of ABBA? So in conclusion, yes, we thank ABBA for the music. Absolutely. But we also thank Billie Piper, Cleopatra, Steps, Bewitched, and yes, Tina Cousins. Anything else to say? I just want to get this wig off. Do I look like Jinx?